Coming up on the Evening Report, after a roll-through of several rounds of rain, what does the wet weather mean for our state's drought? Plus, the Commander-in-Chief will be wheels down in Fargo next week. We'll show you what's on the docket and how you can see him. And later, a new push for more ethical elections in our state.
The Evening Report at 6 on NBC North Dakota News, your news leader in high definition.
Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. KFYR TV is your election leader for the 2018 Senate race. And to keep you informed, we have teamed up with Mason-Dixon Polling and Strategy to give you an exclusive insight into the road to November. KFYR TV's latest poll shows Republican Kevin Cramer has a 4-point lead over Democratic incumbent Heidi Heitkamp. However, 8% of people polled were undecided. Our poll also shows that eastern and western North Dakota are split down the middle in support of the candidates. In Fargo, Cass County, Heidi Heitkamp leads Cramer 54% to 35%. That advantage is reflected in the eastern portion of the state as Heitkamp outscored Cramer by 3 points. The western half of North Dakota shows strong support for Kevin Cramer as he leads Heitkamp 57% to 38%. There's also similar support in the capital city. Cramer has a strong 19-point lead in Bismarck and Mandan. Stay with us, your election leader, for the latest from now until November. Well, despite a few rounds of wet weather, we're not out of the woods yet from the state drought. Reporter Maddie Gelseth spoke to one rancher who's happy for more rainy days to come. She joins us now with that story. Maddie?
Molly, ranchers at the Black Lake Ranch in McKenzie say the worry of a drought is always there. It's just the stress of being a rancher. But this year, the Doans are relieved because of the rain we've been getting. The Black Lake Ranch received 8.5 inches of rain so far this year. And last year, this ground didn't have a drop up to this point. This rain helps the bottom line for the ranch's cattle.
The grass is a lot more vibrant, it's greener. We're able to get the cows in a lot better shape because there's a lot more nutrition in the grass. It's not all dried out.
This year, the Doans can rotate their cattle every 1 to 7 days, depending on the pasture size and how hard the grass has been hit. Last year, they rotated their cattle a lot sooner.
We're able to kind of keep our cows on a piece of ground a little bit longer. You know, we don't like to stress our ground that much, but we're able to kind of play with that a little bit.
It's not only helping cattle, but crops as well.
Things seem to be maturing a lot faster this year, so hopefully we'll continue to get moisture and we'll get some good yields on crops as well.
Doan says if we can get some late season rain, it'll be good for next year's season. Year to date, western North Dakota has doubled the amount of moisture from last year at this time.
All right, thanks, Maddie. And that extra moisture is putting a strain on the storage at Lake Sakakawea, forcing the Army Corps to increase outflows at Garrison Dam for the second time this month. The outflow will hit 52,000 cubic feet per second by Wednesday. That's nearly 400,000 gallons of water every second. Levels at the Garrison Dam are within 3 feet of hitting the max, and it's expected to continue rising. It's not just North Dakota rains filling the lakes.
Well, they've had a couple of rainstorms over the weekend there, and that water has not made its way down yet. So we're looking at the Yellowstone remaining higher than normal for the next several weeks.
The new flows will stay in place until early July, depending on any extra rain and runoff around the area. And speaking of around the area, let's get a look at our forecast with meteorologist Kevin Lawrence. All right, thanks, Kevin.
All right.
Well, in a strange twist, the Bismarck man who was stabbed 3 times over the weekend says he doesn't want to press charges. According to police, the 26-year-old victim was walking back from a bar early Saturday morning when 4 people approached him. The victim says one of them brandished a knife and started stabbing. It happened on South Washington Street. The victim was able to get away, but not without injury. He was later taken to the hospital and treated for uncontrollable bleeding. A sentence hearing for a man accused of committing one of the largest Ponzi schemes in North Dakota history has been canceled. According to court records, an evidentiary hearing was held last week. Kevin Warner is accused of selling counterfeit CDs and recruiting clients to an investment group. That's according to the investigation from the North Dakota Securities Department. The scheme lasted from 2000 to 2015, entangling more than 36 people. According to the United States memorandum, Warner is accused of disposing more than $5 million into the scheme. He pleaded guilty. And a fertilizer supply company that serves the Dakotas and Montana is hoping to grow. After the Dakota Gasification Company acquired the Great Plains Synfuels plant, half of its businesses is now agricultural fertilizer. The company's operation manager says the company is signing an agreement with Orascom Construction Industries to distribute more fertilizer products. Some good news for our state coffers. According to the Office of Management and Budget, we're ahead of revenue forecasts. The OMB says May revenue was $116.2 million, which is 7.2% above forecast. For the biennium, the state is $42 million ahead of forecast, but the state is still looking at cuts for the next biennium as costs are still expected to exceed projected revenues. Governor Doug Burgum announced in April that every executive branch agency would need to submit a budget within 5 or 10% reduction, depending on the agency's original budget. Well, now that the primaries are over, some say it's time to look at our state's election ethics. Turns out we're only one of 8 states that doesn't have an ethics commission. But the group North Dakotans for Public Integrity are looking to change that. The group submitted more than 38,000 signatures to the Secretary of State's office trying to get a measure on the November ballot. The measure would ban lobbyists from giving gifts to public officials. It would also ban campaign contributions from foreign countries and corporations.
We're not interested in the past. We're not interested in any individual public servant. We're interested in establishing the ground rules that will ensure all of us that our public officials are acting ethically and appropriately.
26,904 valid signatures are required to certify the amendment for that November ballot. Speaking of politics, the road to November is drawing some serious star power to our state. President Donald Trump is coming to Fargo next week. The rally will be at the Shields Arena. Doors open Wednesday at 4. The president is expected to discuss low employment rates and his summit meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. You can find the link to purchase tickets on our website, yournewsleader.com. Still ahead, after a late-night drug raid, it's last call for 6 downtown Bismarck bars and restaurants. It's lights out for a major block of nightlife in downtown Bismarck. The so-called district just closed for good. The district on 3rd Street includes the Vault, Lucky Ducks, Avery's Eatery, J60, the Lily Pad, and the Pond. The decision to close comes a few months after a midnight drug raid on the establishments. According to a Facebook post, the owner made the decision, quote, due to recent false allegations made on social media by local media and other local agencies. The building is now up for sale for $4.5 million. The Attorney General's office says they don't have any information at this time to indicate a violation of consumer fraud law in regards to gift card sales. Speaking of downtown businesses, some big changes are coming to Big Boy. This is on Main Street. The railroad property around the 64-year-old business has been purchased to create another drive exit for drive-through customers. The hope is to relieve traffic backup during the lunch and dinner rush time hour. The menu will stay the same, but there will be a new menu board. The parking lot is also being renovated. Also in Bismarck, it's Sergeant Tim Sass's first official day as the Bismarck Police Department's new public information and crime prevention officer. Sass has some big shoes to fill. He's replacing Mark Bushina. Sass was previously the patrol sergeant. He's been with BPD for nearly a decade. He says this new position will allow him to spend more time with his family, for which he is excited. All right, I'm excited for this weather.
Me too.
Over to Kevin.
I'm really excited for the fact that there's just no severe weather here for tonight, because who wants that anyway? Smallly, which could be severe this time of year.
All right, well, we need some showers.
We do.
I certainly need a shower.
Oh, no, you smell fine. Don't worry.
All right, coming up on sports, are you ready for the 43rd annual McQuaid softball tournament? If not, you have a few more days to prepare for this big annual charity event in Bismarck. The name like Ripken, you don't have much of a choice of what you're going to be.
I don't think so.
That's why you named your kids Bill Gates, right?
I don't have any kids.
All right, future kids. Stay tuned, more Night Report next. New on the Night Report. North Dakota is joining the fight against opioid manufacturers with some outsourced legal help from Texas. John Sowling has that story. But now let's go to Cynthia McLaughlin to see what's coming up on West Dakota Fox News at 9. Cynthia?
Most of the rain tonight stays in southern North Dakota, mainly south of I-94. Look at the week ahead, though, warming up, and there we go. Chances for thunderstorms increasing, especially as summer gets underway.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, and we will see you at 10.